I think things are looking a lot more sunny. Not just with what you see in front of the camera and the heat around you, but I think things in the United Kingdom are getting a bit better, and I'll explain how and why on the Walkie Talkie. Now, last night, or yesterday in any sense, was an election for England, right? And clearly changes afoot and people are waking up now, right? And instead of going from blue to red, blue to red, blue to red, blue to red, right, they're snapping out of it and realising neither camp has any interest of common people at heart, and they're hearing about this new political campaign called Reform. And although they might not be a perfect fit, people are obviously viewing Reform to be a bit more current relative. They're relating to the current climate, not what the Labour or Tories are up to, right? And the public realises as well, we got shafted good, hard and proper by Labour with regard to bringing in Keir Starmer and his absolute delirious ways of thinking, right? Pishy Sunak, what's that other one, the one with the mop head on, Boris Johnson. People realise people are absolutely incapable of the job either, and this is why people are gone to Reform, because for years it was either Tory or Labour, and basically they're two cheeks of the same arse, essentially. Though Keir Starmer is a new class of arse himself, right? You know, thieving off grannies, thieving off farmers, thieving off general public, all this bullshit with people getting arrested just because they put a status on Facebook saying they were absolutely shitting themselves. They were terrified because of the whole the incident in North England. I'm trying to remember the place. Southport, there we go. People have right to express fear. Same with anger, same with love, same with everything. But no, he was getting people 3 or 4 year statuses for words very similar to OMFG. I'm shitting myself. This is what my poor child has to live amongst. Oh my goodness, I don't want to see him die, right? Words like that got 3 years and stuff. Evil, evil, evil. But anyway, yeah, so Reform won quite warmly, put it that way. And you know, the thing is, people are bored, daft, hearing, oh, was it Tory this and Labour this, and you know, and sadistic swinging cuts to the elderly. I mean, the elderly, they might be only a few years away from death, but you don't need to push the pensioners quicker to a fire starmer. But anyway, as I say, the general public really did get fucking shafted by hiring in Labour, and everyone tried to vote for the best interests. I've got to admit, yes, that is a thought on everyone's lips, but unfortunately Starmer shafted us all. But Reform, you know, it might not be popular, and the SJWs might call him racist and all the other IST suffixes you can fling at a person. But in actual honesty, if they are going to be throwing us an alternative and have laws and rules enforced that are more person-centred and society-centred, and maybe, just maybe, they're going to be okay, you know. And unfortunately, at this stage in the matter, it was a relatively small election. It's not going to punt Starmer out, but it will start making small little movements towards it. Our general election is 2029, which is a time frame that's too far away, but then again, if there are significant political movements before then, that could actually push into things like no confidence votes and other matters that could get the general election started sooner. And I think it should be started sooner than later, because, to be honest, Starmer has no idea what the hell he's doing. He doesn't know what clothes he's wearing from day one to day dot, let alone what is going on a day-to-day occurrence in this country. It's an absolute shambles. My goodness, that lovely car. But yeah, it's just, it really is pretty appalling, because we're people that voted him in, and what have we seen and heard since? It's been absolutely terrible. And to be honest, somebody even said, we thought Thatcher was bad, but Keir Starmer is worse, and I would say so. All these kind of Stalin-esque arrests for people that have said, you know, about the Rudy Cabana / Southport situation. You know, people just putting simple commentary like, if we don't get him jailed, that's going to set a bad precedent for anybody else. Everyone will think this country's a walkover, a pushover, and it's not offensive, it's just a matter of fact, actually, because if you don't lay down the law on somebody that's done something bad, the next person will fill his boots again, and then the next person will fill their boots again, times again. So no, it's an observation. People should never be jailed for having opinions or observations about matters, even if they are what you call public matters. That's just the way it goes. If people don't like it, well, don't be involved. But yeah, I would like to see, and apparently as well, Keir Starmer actually has tweeted recently, and he says he understands what's happened. He doesn't really. He's just talking like he does, but he doesn't. And if you look at Starmer as well, on an average day, right, he looks very robotic to the face. There's no emotion to it, and there's bugger all emotion to his voice as well. And people commented about how he treated the Southport situation, where, you know, he turned up, he just dumped a reef and jumped into his Land Rover or Range Rover, whatever you like to call it. And that, yes, that is a very true matter again, because like, something that awful, you would expect somebody to have a tiny modicum of emotion, but in actual honesty, well, he didn't. He was a very emotionless face, very wordless as well. He barely said any words between the rest of it, and then just buggered off back into his wee Range Rover in a way. And that does not indicate a politician that cares about his country people. And I think it's absolutely atrocious. And bear in mind, part of our council tax and all that we pay goes to fund his big massive Land Rover, Range Rover, whatever it is. It's some kind of thing, right? And it supports his lavish life as a general. I mean, you know I wear glasses, right? see, when it comes to either buying new glasses or repairing glasses or something like it, I take the financial bar tab for it. I don't expect others to be paying my glasses. Right? I would feel absolutely sickened at the thought of my glasses being paid for by another person. This is why I've got money to buy, repair, replace, to even make bigger, you know. I really do think this whole thing with Lord Ali buying his glasses, what the fuck is that about? Same with his clothes. I have a wardrobe full of clothes that I have paid myself, and that's that. But having others buying your stuff, no, not good, not on at all. But yeah, this is just the start of the journey rather than the end of the journey with regard to this reform thing. So we can only see what happens next. But I think, to be honest, processes in the upcoming year or two, or maybe 3, or maybe push Starmer to go, actually let's resign, and then a general election will happen. And I tell you something, no matter if you're in Scotland or England, you should ask yourself a question: go for red or blue again, or try something different? This is something different that might provide something more fruitful and flavoursome. But anywho, folks, I think this is me finished. So I'm going to head and get myself a drink, and until next time, me love you long time.